Comment here, coming to you with another r/askreddit video. Today's question is, what is your most traumatic experience with a teacher? When I was in high school, I got a lot of nosebleeds, like a lot. So I got one in the middle of class, and I asked the teacher for a tissue. She said she didn't have any, so I asked to go to the toilet to get one, and she said no. Soon I asked again when blood was dripping from my hands, and she yelled at me for repeating myself, which is apparently bad. Soon, a puddle of blood was on the table. Then I got sent to isolation for disrupting the class. I was then suspended for acting inappropriate during class. She was then fired for putting my life at risk. I gotta say, when you get a nosebleed like that, you really see how much blood is inside of you. I was bullied really bad. Kids kept drawing awful, ugly photos and leaving them on my desk with profanity towards my appearance. I had enough one day after dealing with a lot of abuse at home and the bullying at school, and when I saw another broke down crying and brought it to my teacher. She just grabbed it, looked, and asked if I wanted it back. Then did nothing to help. Wouldn't listen to me about the constant bullying and did absolutely nothing. I was in 7th grade and still remember it to this day. Teacher told me I was a liar to the whole class as she didn't believe me my grandmother was a World War II evacuee. She refused to believe me as she assumed my mum was younger than she looked at the time, and therefore my grandmother was younger as well. She thought my mum was in her late 20s, when in reality she was in her early 40s at the time. During quiet reading time, teacher brought me in front of the class because I was reading a book for girls. And he asked me, "Why are you reading a girl's book? Are you a girl?" And made me choose a book for boys to read. I was maybe 10 or 11. The book was Matilda, by the way. My favorite teacher in middle school was arrested for child pornography. He wasn't my favorite after that. He also wasn't my teacher after that. Technically, it was the vice principal, but the day my brother died, apparently he thought it would be a good idea to walk in on story time. The teacher was reading to the class, set me on his lap, and tell me in front of everyone that my brother committed suicide. Pretty messed up. I had some mental health issues developing and spent a lot of time out of class with the well-being staff. When someone asked where I was one day to the teacher, who I previously looked up to and had confined in, decided to tell everyone that I was doing terribly and needed help. When I confronted him and said, "Dude, what the F?" he said he thought it would help so people would be gentle. I do believe he had good intentions, but it did not effing help. Starting in sophomore year of high school, every Valentine's Day, I would get a secret admirer card in my locker. Being an idiot high school girl, I was super flattered, and my friends and I would try and ring our brains to figure out who it was. Finally, come senior year, I get another sweet admirer card. Except this year, it is sent to my home address, and instead of being handwritten, is typed and pasted onto the card with the lyrics from one of my teacher's favorite Bob Dylan songs, Simple Twist of Fate. So it turns out my secret admirer all throughout high school was in fact one of my teachers. On top of the secret admirer cards, the day after I graduated, he started texting me, telling me to get drunk for pillow talk. No thanks, buddy. I had a teacher who found out I was bi and refused to let anyone sit in the seat next to me at my table. It wasn't like I was in the back of the class. I was dead center front row, and she said it out loud to the class. I had a teacher in the 8th grade who obviously didn't like me. She was awful. I was kind of having a hard time fitting in and getting emotionally bullied. Then my parents got a divorce, and I admit I was off at times, and it probably showed that I took it out on other students. So before class started, I was goofing off with other children. She turned at me and said, "You realize nobody likes you, right?" I was taken back and just kind of reinforced what I already knew. That I didn't and probably wouldn't never fit in. Well, I once had a teacher who would read our test scores in front of the entire class. In the same school, I also had a teacher grab my friend by the ear and pull really hard. His ear was red and hurt the rest of the day. Teacher accused me of being a bad kid, cheating on tests, having ADHD. I made good grades, didn't cheat, went to a psychologist just to tell her for a fact I didn't have ADHD. I was just an admittedly overtalkative and energetic kid, and it wasn't like I was wheeling in my wheelchair to the back of the playground and smoking crack or something. I was a third grader. LOL, she told me to shut up. Friend thought he was funny. We were sitting with one of our teachers. He was a teacher's assistant, and he decided to show me a new handshake. Go to slap his hand, only for him to move it last second, resulting in me slapping the teacher's ass. F off, Marshall. My 4th grade teacher was friends with this 5th grade teacher in my elementary, and one day I misbehaved and my 4th grade teacher kept me inside for recess. Then I met the 5th grade teacher that day, and he said he was going to keep me and my friend in every day when we go to 5th grade, and he sure as shit did, and he made us do squats while playing Welcome to the Jungle through the whole song. To this day, I have flashbacks when I hear Axel on mainstream radio. Listening to my health teacher explain that all gay people were child molesters. I was openly gay. In 2nd or 3rd grade, I had a sub one day, and there was a math question that was 300 plus 2 plus 60. We just had to add the numbers together. Easy, right? Added them together and obviously got 362. But this dumbass said that it was 326 because of the placement of the numbers in the question. She then proceeded to bring me to the front of the class and say I was dumb and didn't deserve friends because I was too retarded to do math. She got fired 2 days later. This professor giving a pointless class in college. My phone accidentally rang because I was waiting for a medical call. I interrupted him because of that. I apologized and said sorry. The asshole said, sorry for your parents that pay your college fee. They're wasting money. Loud to everyone in the class. I had a huge urge to punch him, but remained silent because I was changing career that semester and would not see him for another course anyway. He always got away with humiliating students with those types of comments for petty shit. Everyone hated that asshole. My math teacher used to use me as a bad example for other students, and he used to constantly remind me that I am terrible in math and would never succeed in life. This still gets to me sometimes, but it has been a couple of years now since the last time I've seen him. Oh well. My teacher asked what problems we had on the homework. I immediately yelled 2 to 24, which were the actual problems we had to do for the homework. What he actually meant was what we found difficult about the homework. He looked me dead in the eyes and said, "Oh, you effing smartass," with the straightest face. I was genuinely confused and kind of scared. My overweight band teacher closed the door to his office and yelled at me for 40 minutes straight because I asked if I could miss a weekend event as water boy to attend my best friend's birthday. F you, Mike. I pissed my pants in 7th grade because I was so terrified to ask my science teacher to go to the restroom. Luckily, the bell rang shortly after and none of my fellow classmates knew. But I can remember later that year she brought up how she made 2 kids piss their pants, as if she took pride in the fact that she terrified her students. The gym teacher I had in elementary school was an absolutely awful guy. On my first day of kindergarten, I was wearing a dress with strings that tied in the back and I was chewing on them because I was anxious. He called me out and said I was a baby in front of the whole class. It was my first ever day of school. I hadn't even turned 5 yet. What a effing prick. He also used to tell us we were going to die before our parents because my generation is fat and lazy. A super cool thing to tell to a bunch of kids. And the last comment to finish today's video. This didn't happen to me, but we once had a teacher in my old middle school that came in drunk and made sexual comments about the students in his grade 6 class. He later asked one of his female students to stay after class and proceeded to forcibly make out with her and even try to push her onto his couch. She immediately ran crying to the school office. He was 36 and the girl was 12. It's sick what some people can do.
If you enjoyed the video, please like, comment and subscribe. The support is greatly appreciated. Turn that notification bell on to never miss a video, and continue the conversation in the comments section below.